So it's pretty interesting to see this. I said I'd talk about Petrus of Theraland, and I think that this is a really good point. This is a really good character study of human beings, because this shows you that although he's in a religious covenant and he's all hunky dory, he's all good, he's way a white guy, he's a cleric, bang, he's such a good guy, but under that skin, he is a scumbag. He's going to abandon his friends, he's going to and murder people to cover up his tracks. Basically, that he abandoned the royalty in the catacombs. He's going to kill Rhea, and the treachery of Petrus is he's probably one of the most deplorable characters in the game, and he's in the best, quote unquote, best covenant in terms of like goody two shoes. So I think, and you want to say real world parallels again, look at some of the priests and the sex scandals that go on. It's just out there. It's a lesson that shows that just because you say you're part of something doesn't mean your character is good. I think it's basically just a statement saying that there's a lot more to character than the colors you wear, and that's obvious. But it's a nice little hint and a nice little lesson that Miyazaki threw in there. So basically, we're saying that all characters in this game have their own individuality, and it goes to say something. Alright, so that pretty much wraps up the Link to Fire ending. So now we'll move on to the second ending, the Dark Lord ending. So basically the Dark Lord ending is associated with Darkstalker Kath and the Dark Wraiths. And I've often wondered in the story of Demon Souls and Dark Souls if the Dark Wraiths actually are getting a fair shake. And what I mean by that is, are all Dark Wraiths evil? Can there be a good Dark Wraith? Obviously what I'm suggesting about this being more of an atheist type of path, it's almost like, can there be a good atheist? Do atheists have morals? And that's a common question if you look at the argument between atheism and religion. And again, we're really not going to go into that. I don't want to get into like a really stinging fight on that. This is more about Dark Souls and what I think they're trying to tell you. So what is a Dark Wraith? A Dark Wraith is basically a person who is going to invade another world, or your world, and try to kill you for your humanity. So in the basic sense, if you look at it like nature, this is just a predator. This is a predator looking for prey, hunting their prey down and taking them out. It's as simple as that. And I think one of the points that I always came up with in my playthroughs was when I always wanted to, whenever I wanted to be a Dark Wraith, I always waited for my character to be stronger, rather than weak, because no one's going to go into someone else's world unprepared. Your stats are going to be buffed up. You're going to have good weapons. You're going to be ready. You're going to be fully healed and everything. So in general, you're a strong character as a Dark Wraith. You're going in with a purpose and you're trying to carry it out. Simple as that. So what is that saying about maybe atheists or people who kind of forsake religion or don't need religion? Well, maybe they're saying that they're stronger in a general sense. Now, conversely, look at those who follow the more religious covenants and use the cooperation function in the game. Now, usually, when do you want to cooperate? You want to cooperate when you're weak, when you don't have the good weapons, when you don't have the good armor, when your stats are low, when you're having trouble with an area or a boss and it's just driving you nuts, and you want to team up with someone else, and you want to, just be able to use your numbers and cooperation to get through it. So again, in general, I think this is saying that those people who follow religion individually, they're weak, and their strength comes from numbers. And again, this philosophically and academically, you look at someone like Karl Marx and his statements like religion is the opiate of the masses. Basically, it's saying that it's religion's for weak people. And I'm not saying that. I'm just kind of letting you can decide that. But I think it's very interesting because I think this is something that it kind of comes through in the course of the game, and it's like I said, just it irks you and it begs the question: is that what they're saying, or are they saying something else? And that's what I think they're saying, though they're not coming out right and saying it because it's they lose a lot of fans like that. But I think it's interesting and it's worth thinking about, just like the two endings that we're talking about here. So basically, going back to whether a Dark Wraith can have morals, there's actually an item description of the red soapstone, the one you can lay down and challenge people. You can invade worlds like by being summoned to other worlds as an enemy, which is considered an honorable way. And I think this is actually a throw to it because this is saying, oh, this guy's a Dark Wraith, but or maybe not a Dark Wraith per se, but he's doing something a Dark Wraith does, and he hasn't lost his mind. He hasn't fallen into madness, like it says in that item description. So again, the moral line there is, okay, some Dark Wraiths they hold on to their morals, but other ones don't, and they just invade. They try to take you off guard. They don't have any honor, a sense of honor. So it's important to note that some Dark Wraiths have honor, and some, or I think what most of the world thinks, don't. Because if you've ever played, and I'm sure when you get to that high level, if you're like me, you get that temptation almost, like you're kind of like through with the game and you want to just go whoop up on someone else. You want another challenge almost. You're kind of getting bored with just the regular enemies, and being a Dark Wraith gives you the opportunity to go and just go take on other characters, other players, and it's a whole another dimension of the game, and it's fun. And I always start out these games being a good guy and co-oping with people. And being a Dark Wraith doesn't mean you can't co-op, but usually you're going to be on the opposite end of that spectrum. You're going to be the one invading or challenging other players using the red soapstone. So it's just interesting, like the fact temptation actually arises in the game, and it's actually like something the player has to grapple with. Do you just go invade someone, or do you put that soapstone down? And with me, it always comes down to I'm just gonna, I can't resist temptation. So again, if what they're saying is, atheists can say that they're moral and they have morals and they have a moral code, but there's always that temptation because there's nothing that's really holding you to it. That's, I think, what we can say in general. So where does this leave us? This leaves us with one ending, linking the fire, burning yourself alive to continue the age of fire for the gods, carrying out religious duty, and that is your purpose. That is your selected purpose in your life, of your character. That is the role you play. Conversely, we have the role of the Dark Lord, which is basically we're abandoning the age of fire, we're abandoning the gods, and we're going to find our own damn purpose. And it's it's way more open-ended than the Link to Fire ending. Because the Link to Fire ending, I think, from my interpretation and my speculation, it is a repeated cycle. And it almost links all the players of Dark Souls, that Link to Fire, because, well, today you beat the game and you put your body on that pyre, but tomorrow Bob down the street is going to beat it, and he's going to be the fuel for tomorrow. And, obviously tomorrow meaning in the game it's thousands of years, but that's the cycle I think they're talking about. The cycle of sacrifice that satiates the fire. So it's interesting. It's also interesting to note that with the Link to Fire ending, you might not be expressly wanting to sacrifice yourself. Actually, most people, it's been brought up before, don't realize what they're doing. You're succeeding Lord Gwyn in lighting yourself on fire. Now, Kingseeker Framp tells you you're succeeding Lord Gwyn. You think you're, okay, I'm going to be the next Lord of Lordran. I'm going to be the next king. Cool. That's freaking awesome. That sounds like a good gig. He's not being like, oh yeah, you're going to be like roasting like a hot sausage on the fire. I think that's a lot less appealing. But again, and this could be saying something about religions too. Are religions just leading you down, a road to being manipulated by them? And then again, if we go to the Dark Lord ending, you can say, are we being manipulated by Kath? And the question is, it's really up to your interpretation. That is the beauty of the story, I think. That it might not be a right answer, and maybe you're screwed either way. So basically, I think what FromSoft was trying to do was basically ask the question with Dark Souls: is it better to worship something and have hope? Even if that means burning yourself alive on a bonfire, aka having a religion, even if it's not true, or even if it's going to be your downfall? Or are you going to crawl through the shadows and eke out a living like a Dark Wraith? It's basically, how are you going to spend your life? So that's my interpretation on the main story. Very general again, but I think you can get the idea there. So hit it up in the comments, leave some messages what you think, get a discussion going. I want to see what people think about this, because I've seen a lot of speculation. I've seen Epic Neighbors lore videos, they're freaking awesome, and obviously that was a lot of inspiration for me to do this, but I haven't seen anything like this where it's more taking Dark Souls story and kind of applying it to the real world. So yeah, just hopefully get a discussion going and let me know what you think. And I have more ideas about this, and if there's interest I can make more videos. So peace out, hope you enjoyed, and yeah, take it easy, bro.